I'm sure everyone is aware of the website MyAnimeList. It is an essential part of being a weeb. It features a way to track what anime a user has seen, it features a database ranking every anime from past, present, to future, and it even is home to several forums. I mainly use MyAnimeList to track what anime I have seen, as well as do research for my videos. But it was in December of 2022 that I made a discovery of an event that was being held. That was the MyAnimeList Secret Santa. The MAL Secret Santa is an event held every year, where users will be assigned a different user and then gift recommendations based off of their interests, as well as receive recommendations from a third user. I thought this event sounded super fun, and I was really excited to not only gift an anime, but see what anime I would be receiving. And the three that I received were Mushoku Tensei, Canon, and the topic of today's video, Strike the Blood. I had never heard of this one before. It was listed as an ecchi, which, to no one's surprise, was something that I asked for. So, after I watched the first 12 episodes, I was honestly hooked, but then I gave it a break to watch some of the other recommendations that I was given. My opinion on Strike the Blood after the first 12 episodes was that it was a fun show. The ecchi scenes were really fun and entertaining, but the plot was a little convoluted and I didn't understand the world we were in. But overall, I had a positive perspective on it. But after the event had concluded, I still had to finish the anime, and once I did, I started to notice a few cracks. The series is super repetitive. Not only is animation reused over and over, but the themes are also constantly repeated every single arc, which makes the show feel like it overstays its welcome. But this show is an ecchi, which is always a great way to get my attention. So, despite not having that high of an opinion of it, I think my Secret Santa did a great job with this gift. I think they met the brief perfectly. So, with this being an ecchi show that I willingly watched and also will admit isn't good, I think it is only fair that we ask the question, why did I watch this? Yes, I know that I literally just gave the answer in the intro, but come on, I got a show to do. So, enough yapping, and let's see what Strike the Blood is all about. Akatsuki Kojo is the inheritor of being the fourth progenitor after the previous fourth progenitor's passing. But there are only supposed to be 3 progenitors, and Kojo is a wild card who doesn't know the power he possesses. So, the Lion King organization sends a member to Kojo's home of Ichigami Island to investigate. Ichigami Island is a man-made island home to humans and monsters alike. And the one sent by the Lion King organization is Yukina Himeragi, who is a sword shaman. She is to observe him and make sure he doesn't get out of control. Now, Kojo and Yukina must work together to battle evil while learning to work together, and maybe even kiss along the way. The series is the adaptation of a light novel written by Gakuto Mikumo and illustrated by Manyako. The light novels ran from May 10th, 2011 to August 7th, 2020. Wait, 2020? That was like last week. Man, this series had a long run. The anime began airing on October 4th, 2013, and it initially had a 24-episode run. Now, I said a lot of things in that plot review. Progenitor, sword shaman, Lion King organization. There's a whole island where monsters just kind of hang out. You would have a lot of questions, and that's very fair because I have them too. And I watched the dang show. The series has a pretty big world, but it isn't fleshed out enough because the series just doesn't spend time on it. This is shown immediately when it comes to the setting. The setting seems really interesting when you first hear about it, but the show doesn't explore the implications of humans and monsters living together properly. The two groups seem very separate, and it just seems like an excuse to have supernatural things happening in the plot. You could give any excuse you want. It didn't have to be that, but since that's what you made it and it wasn't explored properly, I'm going to be dissatisfied. The problem of not fleshing the world out properly also comes up a lot later in the story as well. So often, characters will just say words and I have no idea what they are saying, especially at the start of new arcs, which the series breaks itself into. We'll talk more about the arcs and their repetitive nature later, but now I just want to highlight how confusing some of these episodes can be.
船を我ら聖艦騎士団が守護するランバルドと知っての狼藉か。
アルディギア王国ご自慢のベルンドシステムってやつね。
Did you understand any of that? Because I know that looked out of context, but trust me, you had the same amount of context that I had when I watched that scene, which was nothing. I know I just started and I'm already complaining, but this show does not have the best world building or even plot. So why did I watch 24 episodes of it? I'm not even gonna hide it. It's the ecchi elements. Let's talk more about Kojo's powers as the fourth progenitor. Kojo is a vampire, but not really. Yes, he does suck blood, but he is completely fine out in the sun. They don't even pretend that he doesn't like the sun. He just hangs out in broad daylight like it's nothing, and the show never addresses it. So, why make him a vampire at all? Because he has to suck. Blood, that is. But with Kojo, he can't just suck blood normally. Oh no. There needs to be a certain condition met first. Kojo can only suck blood if he is aroused. And conveniently, there is a female character who is created to do just that. I've heard of fridging before, but this is ridiculous. So a lot of the time, the plot will always devolve into Kojo being in a jam and needing to suck Yukina's blood to get stronger, because whenever he sucks her blood, he unlocks a new familiar. And by familiar, I mean familiar with her body, because as mentioned earlier, Kojo needs to be aroused, so the two will get all hot and steamy in the middle of a fight in order to give Kojo a boost. And it isn't just Yukina either. It happens with all the girls on the show, including his sister. Because the strongest power of all is the power of incest. These ecchi scenes are actually my favorite part of the show, but they do break up the plot. As Kojo and Yukina are trying to solve whatever problem they have to face, the action will always be interrupted by these lewd scenes. It's one of the things that makes the show feel formulaic and repetitive, and I feel like it would be a problem for a lot of people. If you are here for the action, then you'll get annoyed when Kojo gets body swapped and is now peeping on Yukina and Astarte undressing. And inversely, I want to see more of the scene where Asagi cosplays and forces Kojo to draw her because I enjoy the romance and ecchi elements, but I feel like the plot isn't thought out enough. I feel like they didn't find a good balance between these two elements, which it is possible to do. There are a ton of shows that have ecchi elements and a good plot. A good example is Akame ga Kill. There is a part where Tatsumi and Esdeath are stuck on an island together, and during this ordeal, Esdeath reveals her backstory. It's a really good backstory that enriches her character and shows how formidable of a villain she is. But the whole time she is telling this to Tatsumi, she is on top of him shirtless. So there isn't a disconnect. We get the backstory during a scene with a lot of fan service, and not one right after the other like Strike the Blood does. Before we move on to more complaining, I just want to say that while I do think the fan service moments can get in the way of the plot, they are my favorite parts of the series. And one of the reasons is because of the female characters. All the girls have great designs and have good chemistry with our boy. But not all of them are created equally. Some are better than others. Obviously, best girl for me has got to be Asagi. I see that ponytail back there. You can't hide from me. Asagi is Kojo's classmate and plays a man or woman in the chair role. If Kojo needs information, he goes to Asagi for help, because she is a part-time programmer at Gigafloat Management Corporation. I read that straight off the wiki because I had no idea what her deal was. It is obvious that she has a crush on Kojo and always wants to help him out, but Kojo hasn't yet told her about the whole vampire thing. So Asagi is very jealous at Yukina getting to spend time with Kojo, and also jealous that Yukina seems to know more about him. Since Asagi is my favorite, I love all of her scenes with Kojo. like when he and her are protecting the child version of their teacher, who looks exactly like Mai Sakurajima from Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. During this, the three seem like they are a family, and there is even a bath scene between Asagi and Kojo, which, mwah, chef's kiss. But Asagi isn't the only character with a ponytail on this show. Kirasaka is a brunette with a ponytail who is from the same organization as Yukina. Kirasaka loves Yukino and doesn't like men, especially Kojo. But as the series progresses, she develops a thing for him, just like every other female character in the show. I like to call this the Koneko problem. In a show like this, every girl is trying to get the affection of the main boy, so it can make a lot of the girls feel like they're the same. But if one of them isn't having it, she will be different because she is the one that doesn't. But if she starts to like the main boy, she will lose what makes her different and then become like all of the other characters. This is exactly what happened with Koneko from High School DxD. She was the only character who didn't like Issei, then they made her a cat girl and she lost her one distinct quality. Same with Kirasaka, which makes her the blandest character. However, Kirasaka does have some good moments with Kojo, like in the final arc when Kojo is close to dying and Kirasaka starts stripping so that Kojo can suck her blood. This series is wild. Then of course there is the main girl, Yukina. Yukina is a very typical main girl. She is always by Kojo's side and is quick to hit him if he does something she doesn't like flirt with another girl, flirt with her, or breathe the wrong way. She is really cute though, and I am proud about the restraint that they had with her. Her bust is only 76 centimeters, which is actually uncommon for the main girl in an ecchi anime.
What? It is public information that her bust is 76 centimeters. If they put it in the show, I'm gonna put it in the damn script.
Yukina also contributes to one of the problems that I have with the show. Whenever Kojo and Yukina get in a fight, they will say this.
俺の喧嘩だ!
いいえ先輩私たちの喧嘩です
Every
いいえ先輩私たちの喧嘩です
single
いいえ先輩私たちの喧嘩です
time
いいえ先輩私たちの喧嘩です
But sometimes Yukina is in a different outfit, like when she wore this maid outfit for an episode and a half. Seriously, why did she wear it for that long? And every time Yukina uses her... You know, it's bad enough that I have to try and pronounce Japanese words. Why are they making me say German words too? Anyway, every time she attacks with her sneeze Walter, they reuse the same animation. It's like how Sailor Moon uses the same transformation sequence. I get why they do this, but it just gets on my nerves. Kojo is a very typical protagonist. He always does the right thing, his main trait is his horniness, and he is a big doofus when it comes to love. His relationship with Yukina is actually the best part about him. It's really cute to watch these two flirt, and their intimate moments are the driving force of the show. So Kojo is definitely brought up by the characters around him. Well, at least the characters I brought up before him, because as we continue, things only go downhill.
The worst character in Strike the Blood has gotta be Yaze. I have no idea what his deal is, and I've watched 24 episodes of this crap. Now, I know that that's not everything, trust me, I'll yell about that later, but after 24 episodes, I should either know what his deal is, or understand that I shouldn't know what his deal is, because the show acts like I should know, but I don't.
Yaze is Kojo's friend, and he inserts himself into situations using his Beats by Dre for magic or whatever. It is really unclear what his role is and what his motivations are, but he doesn't read as a mystery to me, he just reads as confusing.
So, that's all the main characters plus Yaze because I wanted to vent, but there are so many other side characters that I just don't want to bring up. Especially since none of them are interesting and half of them are exactly the same.
Earlier I mentioned the arcs briefly, but now it is time to talk about them and the biggest problem with Strike the Blood. There are 7 arcs in Season 1, and each one is very self-contained. except for the Labyrinth of the Blue Witch arc and the Fiesta for the Observers arc, which lead right into each other. This actually helps these two out because there is more time spent on the plot because it is the same plot stretched out over 2 arcs instead of just the one. Each arc is structured the same. There is a problem that is happening that has to do with something that I don't care about. Kojo and Yukina are hanging out. Kojo does something lewd. They get roped into the plot because of a new character that gets introduced. After the plot progresses, it's time for more fan service, more plot, then big fight where Kojo and Yukina kiss on the battlefield, and then it's over.
The arcs being formulaic is a problem, but there are plenty of good shows that are formulaic, like Phineas and Ferb. But the problem with the Strike the Blood arcs is that not only are the contents similar, but the theme is exactly the same in each one.
Present in each arc is a character that is created for a specific purpose, and at the end of the arc they will be taught by Kojo and Yukina that they are more than that, and they should be their own person. This is meant to reflect Kojo, but also Yukina. And I can tell that they want to be subtle with the Yukina comparison, but it isn't that subtle if you do it every time. Stop beating the horse, it's already dead.
This makes a lot of the characters redundant, and given that there are a lot of them, you just get problems stacked up like a mountain. It's been very negative for a while, so how are the OPs? OP1. This goes so hard. Easily the best part of the whole show. OP2. How is this one better than the first one? How are the EDs? ED1. It's okay. ED2. It's okay. Strike the Blood has a lot of problems, from the repetitive nature to a not great plot. But the biggest sin is just how much of it there is. Season 1 had 24 episodes, which is a fair amount, but there are also 6 OVAs, the most recent of which coming out in 2022. Wait, 2022? I wrote this script in 2023! You mean to tell me that new episodes of this anime came out last year? As of the writing of this script? Thankfully, it has the word final in the title. And since the light novels are done, I think there is no more Strike the Blood to be made. I'm sure that the OVAs are just more of the same, and I have no intention of watching them. But I think I can be convinced. So make sure to let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and sayonara.